I was talking to a friend while playing Valorant the other day, and they're in their senior year of high school, right? And it just reminded me of how stressful that period was for me. Just the amount of pressure that you get from friends and parents. I personally don't miss it. That pressure wasn't something I was really used to, and it really ate away at me. I had no idea what to do with my life, and all the outside pressure really got to me, right? But that was almost exactly a year ago, and now I've been doing YouTube for a whole year when I should be in college, right? To give a little context, I was someone who really tried to hold on to the past. You know, that joy of exploring things and just playing games as a child. I would definitely consider myself a video game addict at the time. I played video games non-stop, but unlike the previous years where I was enjoying it, for fun, now it was more of an escape from my responsibilities and the future that I had to deal with. And with all this pressure of seeing my friends prepare for college, and I felt so far behind. But even as I escaped into video games, I wasn't oblivious to the fact that I would eventually have to face my future. But I was scared, At this point, I just felt so far behind in life. Any goals that I set for myself, getting fit, learning new skills, or just developing myself in general, I just couldn't stick to them, right? I would spend maybe a week or two and then just get sidetracked into something else. And what hurts even more is that I was able to do that before in middle school. Middle school was when I pretty much peaked in life. Sure, I wasn't really the smartest or the most developed, but I was chasing my own goals that I loved. And I was talking to people that I enjoyed being with. I was going out, we were snowboarding, I was training in the yard, and I was talking to girls, right? Now, the only thing I can get myself to stick to is schoolwork, because I get in trouble if I don't do my schoolwork, right? I had no social skills, little friends, no permit, no driver's license. There's younger people than me who are already driving, but I just tried to ignore it and cope. Anytime something like that happened, I would just suppress my thoughts by doing something that could hold my attention long enough for me to zone out. But around November, it all came falling down. One of the nights I was playing video games, staying up late, queuing games on Valorant, right? Valorant is a game where you can queue up with 5 people on your team, and you can talk to them, right? That's how you communicate and make plans and work together. But there's this casual mode where you could just hang out with 5 people for a game, right? And whenever you queued past midnight, that's when you would always find the talkative people, the streamers, the people who are looking to have fun. So that's what I did. That was my way of socializing and distracting myself from my responsibilities. But one night I was doing that again, and there's no one like that. I was queuing over and over again, just shooting. Am I allowed to say that? Can I just say shooting bodies? And I was just queuing over and over again. There's no one to talk to. And honestly, I didn't even want to play. It was just a way of distracting myself, numbing, coping mechanism that I've built up over the years. And eventually I just had enough, right? I was tired. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to think. I just got off. I turned off my PC, and I remember sitting in bed in silence, just painfully numb, staring blankly at the wall, and then just suddenly having, bad thoughts. I wondered if life was even worth living at this point, if I should even try with how far I've fallen behind. That's how far I'd fallen, but it had only hit now because I wasn't distracting myself. I don't know if I came to a conclusion that night, but I definitely remember it being one of my lowest moments, even worse than some of the breakups I've had. In the middle of all of this, it said that the most important decision of a senior in high school is college, right? Or also known as deciding what to do with your life. Now, you might say that I still have my college years to get everything together, right? But I never really considered college to be a viable option. I never really liked school. I just did it because I was forced to. Continuing on with the school system seemed like a bad decision to me, honestly. I don't know everything about the world. Not even close. And I'm probably just as naive as I am, or as I was before. But when I looked around, the problems that I saw with degrees and college students didn't seem that worth it to me, right? First off, the majors that they provide, there's only really a few useful ones, right? The only one that was really interesting to me was computer science. But then you have the problem of graduates not being able to get jobs because they require 2-year, 4-year job experience for some reason. There's probably a way around that, but I didn't see it at the time. But even before that, apparently the amount of homework that they give out and the projects they make you do are just hell, right? That's what one of my friends said, who has a brother in my state school, right? I know I'm lazy when it comes to schoolwork, but I feel like nothing would change even if I went to college and got a degree. Not just career-wise, but considering how far behind I felt in life, right? Would I still be a gamer degen if I went to college? Would I have the skills to get myself up, build the body, build the mind, and support myself in a job? Most importantly, would I be able to build the freedom that I wanted with my own hands? At the time, that's what I saw, but letting it sit for a year, I can definitely see the benefits of there are definitely people who are able to do that. Those were my thoughts at the time, and they may seem silly because obviously you can do this in college, and the environment that it sets you up for probably makes it even easier to develop yourself. I just didn't see it at the time, right? And then you've got the price, the amount of debt that you go in. Big deal breaker. Might be the sole reason anyone chooses to go to college or not. But luckily, I was introduced to a separate path, which was online business. Do I understand business? I don't know, but I was a big Hamza follower at the time. Say what you want, but that's where I was introduced. He often told his story about his college experience and the realization that he had how he didn't want to graduate because that would mean life would start for him. He would have to get a job, he'd have to move out, he wouldn't be able to mess around anymore, right? Kind of like the situation that I'm in. I have to take responsibility for my life now that I'm about to graduate. But what he introduced to me was this world of online entrepreneurship, and that there are people, not just like crazy millionaires taking advantage of the internet, but rather normal human beings with skills who are using the internet to make money. I never really bought into it because, you know, there was just a lot of missing information about how it's done, right? They don't always give the full picture. And as someone who doesn't really step into business, it's hard to understand the full picture. But I ended up coming across a self-improvement YouTuber called Ruff. I think he's just a year older than me, and he was making it on YouTube, right? And that's when I realized, like, oh shit, it's actually possible, right? You know, the 4-minute mile effect, that there are people my age who are making it online. And if you look into Hamza's school, there are people in his school who are making their first dollar online. There were people who I egotistically am smarter than, but they're the ones that are making money online. So like, how could that not interest you? But of course, it's still a big decision. I was down in the dumps because I was so aware of how far I've fallen behind in life, meaning that there's probably so much more that they know about life and are capable of that I'm not just yet. But despite what my counselor said, what my parents said, and what my friends said, I realized that I would regret not taking this chance. If I went to college like everyone else, I feel like I would use the excuse of homework to not improve myself, right? And I wanted to build skill, make myself smarter, and learn to endure things with my own willpower instead of being told what to do. Right, because I'm really good at being told what to do. That's the easiest thing in the world for me. Being told what to do is what led me to the position I was at that moment. I decided to go down the content creator route. It took a lot of conversations with my parents and counselors. They were not happy at all. It took like around 20 conversations in the span of 3 months. And as a safe plan, I would apply to the schools just to understand the application process if I changed my mind, which I didn't. And it's crazy to think that I would already be in my 2nd semester of college right now, but I'm still at home making content, studying what I actually want to study, even though I'm slacking off a bit. It was on November 28th when I posted my first short on this channel. Most of them are private now, but that was the start of my first 90 videos, right? I stopped contacting friends, online friends, deleting my games, and joined this challenge called Winter Arc 90. But even then, it wasn't really all uphill from there. Honestly, it's been more lonely than ever. I still fall in the game sometimes, and all the progress that I need is my responsibility, right? Which is a tough one. You can't just turn off your brain and sit in class like you do in school. But if you don't put in any work for the day, you can go to bed just feeling like absolute shit, right? It is going to be completely your fault. But going to where I am right now, it's been an entire year, which is crazy. Time is going by extremely fast. I'm not exactly the most responsible person, even as of right now. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time during this year when I could be making progress. Right? Not just progress for the sake of looking good, but just considering the fact of just theorizing of where would I be if I took my step into college instead, right? What mental state would I be in? How would my addictions look? What skills would I be able to develop? Even if I've wasted like 6 months of work in this whole year, I like to think that it's just part of the process, right? I'm a naive kid trying to figure out life, and how to build skill, and that it was a necessary waste for me to even start seeing the problems that I need to solve. And I think that's what's so great about doing your own thing. This whole process has kind of built up my mental side a whole lot, doing so much inner work, asking myself questions, trying to figure out how the way I work, right? Why do I feel this impulse? Or clicking on the game, what about clicking on YouTube? But my actions might now be linked to my childhood, and how can I use that to make more progress? It's like I have more pieces to work with in this puzzle that I didn't used to before, and that even if I can't solve it right now, I at least know that I can find these pieces and I can start searching for the other ones. But a question you might ask is that, can you do this while going to college? Yes, of course you can. There are a bunch of guys who are better than me who are making YouTube videos and starting their own businesses, and they're much better than me. They're doing way better than me, and I'm jealous, right? I'm jealous. And reflecting on this whole year has made me realize that I do need to put in more work, find ways to make more progress. But if I were a senior again in high school, I would probably make the same decision. I realized that this path that I'm going on right now is the path that will most likely lead me to the life that I want. Ooh, that was a lot to do, to be honest. I think I read this whole script like 4 times in total, the amount of revisions. But I'm sorry if that was all over the place, but I hope this helps. Take care.